explore like a wake up moment, which could be in the morning. Maybe you're just waking up for the day, or it could be any time of the day where you feel like you just need to wake up a little bit. We're going to take a real sense of that yawny-like quality of emerging for the day and take that into our movements today. So let's start off lying down on our back and just giving yourself a little bit of time to connect the surface of your body with the floor. Taking a moment to get curious about how you're feeling, what you arrive with today, and taking the time to remind yourself to meet yourself with kindness, with curiosity, with a deep sense of compassion for the person that you are right now in this moment. And we're going to start to allow the breath to find a slightly broader base at the bottom of the rib cage, so that as we breathe in, if we had a stretchy, elastic belt around the base of our rib cage, we would gently stretch it a little wider in each direction as we breathe in, and then it would sort of soften back to its original shape as we breathe out. And we're going to mimic that movement with our arms. So as we breathe in, we're going to think about reaching the arms out like we had a balloon inflating in front of us. And then as we breathe out, we're going to give ourselves a little bit of a hug. So we're thinking inhaling and exhaling. And as you do this little hug, you might sort of change which arm is on top each time. And we're going to take that sense of yawny-like quality to the movement. So it might not be exactly a balloon. Maybe you start to reach the arms out. What does it feel like to bring that sense of yawniness? I don't know that that's a word, but you know what I mean. What does it feel like to bring that quality into this movement? And we're going to add a little bit of movement through the pelvis as we do this. So next time you're breathing in and we're reaching the arms open, we're going to tip the pelvis forward as well, getting that arch through the low part of the back. And then as we give ourselves that hug, we're going to scoop the tail and flatten the low back towards the floor. So we inhale, yawny-like quality opening. Exhale, curling back into a little ball. And you might let your knees kind of fall out towards the sides a little on the inhale, maybe letting your knees drop in towards the middle on the exhale. Giving yourself permission for this to meet you where you need to be met today. It doesn't have to stay the same as you move. What makes sense? Does the position that your arms want to take change? Do you want to try some different angles, maybe reaching up overhead or down by your hips? Giving yourself that sort of space just to be really curious. Good. Let's just do 2 more. And then we're going to pause in that little self-hug. We're going to think about that squeeze of the elbows sort of down towards the pelvis, the tucking of the pelvis under so the low back's flattening. And then as we come out of that into neutral, so we're going to come into a neutral pelvis, neutral rib cage, we're going to take one arm and one leg and we're just going to reach them. So it might be leg straight up, arm straight back, it might be slightly out to the side. And then we're going to come back into that little tuck of the tail and that little self-hug. And then as we come out through neutral, it's left arm, right leg, I'm going to reach. So it's neutral rib cage pelvis, but we're just doing this kind of like reaching through the arm and through the leg. And we're going to find that tuck of the tail and that little self-hug as we come back to center each time. Finding your opposites, if that's possible. Great. Let's just do one more. And then when you're ready, coming all the way back through center, we're going to take the legs long. We're going to take the arms up overhead and sort of take them out to a loose sort of V shape. And then we're going to have a big reach. So we're going to imagine that we were trying to stretch ourselves out into a human X shape. The legs reaching, the arms reaching, taking a big breath in. Maybe it's even a yawn. And then as you exhale, just allowing all of that to soften. Elbows might bend. Let's do that again. So big reach out through the feet, out through the arms. And then allowing it all to soften as you exhale. Good, one more time. Good. And then we're going to roll ourselves over onto our sides, onto one side. So you might like to have a blanket underneath your head for this for a little bit of support, but you could use your arm as a pillow if you prefer. And we're going to come up onto our side. So either side to start with is completely fine. We're going to find the sense of being on our side so that we're not kind of rolling our back towards the floor, nor are we leaning forward towards our belly. There's this sense that we're very much on our side. And then our knees, we're going to tuck up quite close towards our torso. So sort of thinking 90 degrees thighs to torso. And then we're going to take this top hand, whichever one that might be for you, and we're going to reach it on a forward diagonal. And now we're going to let our chest rotate towards the floor. And we're going to think about reaching that hand along the floor like we were sort of sliding it towards the skirting board on the wall that's kind of towards our side. And then we're going to start to come back, sliding that hand back in, slide it along the floor and then onto the chest. Then we're going to start to reach. So we're going to reach the arm up, so up towards the ceiling, up towards the cornice in the corner of the room or corner of where the ceiling and the wall meet. And then we're going to bring the hand back in. So we're going to roll forward, reach that hand on the diagonal, and then pull ourselves back through center, hand towards the center of the chest as we rotate the chest towards the ceiling. And then reaching that arm, reaching into space, reaching for the ceiling. Good. Let's just do that one more time. And then we're going to add a little reach through the leg. So next time we come back through center, we're going to pause. Good. So let's go for the same reach again, reaching that arm forward. And then we're going to see if we could match that reach with our top leg. So we're reaching forward with the arm, we're going to reach back with the leg. And it's just enough that we still have this sense that we've got the rib cage and the pelvis in relationship. So it's almost like we've created one big mega limb from fingertips to toes. And then we're going to do the same thing. We're going to go knee bends as your hand comes towards the center of your chest. As you rotate your chest and reach your arm, we're going to kick the leg forward. So there's this sense that we come back into, everything kind of comes back to where it started. And then as we reach, we're reaching with that yawny-like quality from the center of ourselves and then pulling back in, coiling back in. Good. So let's do a couple more. You can always leave out the leg if for whatever reason that doesn't feel the way you want it to feel. Just remember that we're always coming in with the goal of meeting ourselves where we want to and need to be met today. Good. Last one. And then coming all the way back through center. Let's use our hands, sort of reaching them in front of us. We're going to scissor that top leg back a little bit. Use our hands to help us push up and then come around to the other side. So we're going to sweep our legs over to the other side. Bring your pillow blanket with you if you need to, and then lowering yourself down onto your second side. You could certainly roll over via your back as well if you prefer. And we're going to do the same setup. So we're on our side. We're going to think about shoulders stacking, pelvis stacking, knees nice and close in towards us. And then this top hand is going to reach on that forward diagonal. And as it does, we're letting our chest rotate. We're finding that sense of reaching towards the corner of the room or the wall of the room. And then sliding the hand in onto the center of the chest, rotating your chest towards the ceiling, and then a big reach up towards, sort of up towards the ceiling, towards the back wall. And there's this sense that we're reaching towards it. So it's like that yawny, reachy quality. And then hand to the center of the chest, rolling back and reaching on that forward diagonal. So it's like we're yawning and then coming back in, right? So let's do, after this one more before we add in the leg. And I said this was a bit of a wake-up kind of idea, but because we're so low to the floor, you could just as easily use this as a wind down. But I think that this sort of sense of like yawning kind of sometimes can make us feel a little bit like we're starting the day. So now when we come back to reaching forward, we're going to take that top leg and reach it like it was trying to match the angle of that top arm. And then we're going to reach both, reaching, and then everything comes back in as we rotate the chest towards the ceiling, as we reach through that arm, maybe also reaching out through the leg. Good. Let's do one more. And then as you come back, we'll bring two hands onto the floor, scissor that top leg back, and come all the way up to sit. All right, let's come up onto our hands and knees, and we're going to bring our hands just to support us underneath the shoulders, knees kind of roughly around underneath our hips. And then we're just going to have a little sway from side to side. So swaying the hips left and right, kind of letting the head do whatever it wants to do in response. And then tucking the toes under, we're going to take this same quality of like reaching and yawning as we press ourselves back. Now you can come all the way, bottom to heels, or you might come a little bit of the way. And then finding that yawny quality as you kind of reach your arms forward. So we're going to reach. Then we're going to start to coil ourselves back in and round the spine up towards the ceiling. So as we come back, heels and bottom getting closer to each other, we're going to reach the arms forward, that sense of yawning, reaching, and then letting everything kind of coil in as we round the spine towards the ceiling. So let's do that 2 more times. And then as you come up this last time, we're going to actually pause there. So pausing in the round, untucking your toes if you want to, and then we're going to take our head and tail the opposite way. So lifting them, having that sense of like yawny-like quality to this movement too. And then coming in through neutral, we're going to lift the right hand away from the floor and we're going to reach out to the side. So we're going to reach off to the side, again with that yawny-like quality, big reach. Then as we coil back in, we're going to reach underneath the left armpit. Same sort of yawny type quality, so big reach off to the left. And we're going to just do that a couple of times. So a big reach to the right. Big within the context of what feels good for you today. And then let's switch. So reaching the left arm off to the left, like you were reaching for something on the wall, and then coming in and underneath that right armpit. Let's just do that 2 more times. Good. And then as you come back through center, we're going to come all the way up onto our knees. So rolling yourself up. All right, so our last little movement that we're going to do here with that sort of yawny, sort of stretchy quality is taking the arms forward. You could do this standing as well, or you could even do this sitting down if you preferred. We're going to think about reaching the arms forward, and as we reach, that yawny quality, almost like we were trying to pull the arms further away towards the wall in front of us. And then we're going to take the arms to just sort of like this sort of softer place, slightly off to the sides, and then add another reach as the arms come back. So we're keeping the rib cage and the pelvis over the top of each other, getting that sense that they're stacking. And we're going to reach out towards the walls, squeeze the shoulder blades together, and then kind of come into this softer hold. So it's a reach forward, softening, and then a reach out to the sides and back. And this does not have to be forceful, right? So when we're like, reach, 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 I hear it and I think, okay, yes, reach, but within a range that isn't like, have to hold my breath to find it. It's just this sense of like expanding, taking up a little bit more space. Last one. And then coming all the way down, sitting on your heels, or maybe coming off your heels to sit on your bottom, maybe sitting on something if you prefer. Bringing one hand onto your belly, one hand onto the center of your chest if that feels good. Otherwise, just letting your hands rest in your lap. And we're going to take a few broad breaths here, thinking about that space that we have to breathe into the base of the ribs. So softening the shoulders, taking a breath in and out. Just 2 more. And then as you release that last exhalation, just letting your breath return to its own rhythm. Taking a moment to check in and notice, is there anything else that you need? How do you be in response to your body, meeting yourself where you are right now, before you move into, and as you move into the rest of the day ahead? Taking your time to do more in response to what you're noticing, or just simply making the commitment to keep meeting yourself with kindness as you move into the rest of the day. I'll look forward to seeing you again soon.